My older brother's wife said she'd force me to babysit their kids because being child-free is not normal and she wants to change my mind. So, I decided to make her want to be child-free too. I'm 26, child-free by choice, and love my peaceful life. My brother Jason and his wife Amber had 3 kids under 6. Pure chaos. Amber constantly lectures me about how I'm missing out and need to grow up. She posts passive-aggressive Facebook memes about how real women become mothers and corners me at family events, saying I'm depriving myself of purpose. Last Friday, they called asking me to babysit Saturday for a wedding. I politely declined. I had plans with my friend Clara to go river tubing. We've been planning this for weeks. Amber lost it, screaming about how I'm selfish and need to learn real responsibility. She ended the call with, "You need to grow up, Zoe." Saturday morning at 7 a.m., I woke up to aggressive banging on my door. There were all 3 kids. 5-year-old Liam clutching a tablet, 3-year-old Ava in a tutu with 1 sock, and baby Jackson screaming in his carrier. A sticky note on my door read, "Be back Sunday. Thanks. Auntie Zoe." They'd literally just dumped them like Amazon packages and drove off to their wedding. I called Jason straight to voicemail, texted Amber. Nothing. They'd turned off their phones, expecting me to just suck it up and cancel my life at their convenience. This was their master plan. Force me into parenting to prove I was wrong about being child-free. Most people would stay home and complain. Not me. They wanted to prove I needed this experience. Fine. I'd give them an experience they'd never forget. I packed all 3 kids in waterproof gear and took them river tubing anyway. Clara met us at the launch, took one look at the chaos and said, "You're absolutely insane." Then helped me strap Liam into a life vest like the saint she is. For 2 hours, we floated down the French Broad River. Ava wore glitter sunglasses and sang Frozen songs at every passing kayaker like she was performing at Carnegie Hall. Liam tried catching fish with his bare hands and nearly flipped out of his tube twice. Jackson actually calmed down once we got moving. The motion and fresh air put him right to sleep. Other river goers stared at our bizarre parade. A guy in a canoe asked if they were all mine. "Nope," I said cheerfully. "Just the world's most reluctant babysitter taking revenge on manipulative relatives." After tubing, we hit this dog-friendly taco truck lot near Clara's place. She brought her rescue mutt Peaches, who immediately became the 4th child. The kids went absolutely wild over the picnic tables and dogs running around. We got them quesadillas with mild cheese and churros, which ended up mostly decorating Ava's face and hair. Jackson passed out in his stroller, clutching half a churro like a trophy. I documented everything on Instagram. Photos of the kids laughing in tubes, covered in churros, playing with dogs, looking absolutely delighted. I captioned it, "Impromptu, adventure babysitting. Sometimes, the best lessons come from unexpected moments. Thanks for the practice run." And by the time we got home, all 3 were exhausted, but genuinely happy. They fell asleep within minutes. Ava on my couch with glitter still sparkling on her forehead. Liam snoring with 1 shoe mysteriously missing. Jackson sleeping like an angel. Sunday evening, Jason and Amber returned, clearly expecting to find me overwhelmed, house destroyed, and finally converted to their vision of motherhood. Instead, they found me completely calm, sipping wine, the kids clean and fed, and my social media full of adventure photos. Amber's face went completely white when she scrolled through my Instagram stories. "You took them where?" "River tubing." "Yeah, and they were perfectly safe," I said. Amber's shocked expression melted into something else, something that looked almost like satisfaction. She exchanged a glance with Jason, and that's when I noticed the small camera mounted on my bookshelf, one I definitely hadn't put there. "You brought them over this morning and set up a camera?" Jason almost smiled. "We needed proof. You weren't responsible enough, but you took them somewhere dangerous without permission and posted it online." Amber pulled out a folder from her purse, and I realized with growing horror this entire thing had been planned, but I wasn't the one planning it. My stomach dropped as Amber opened that folder right there in my living room. Inside were printed screenshots of every single Instagram story I'd posted. The kids laughing in their life vests, Ava covered in churro sugar, Liam splashing in the river. Each photo had a timestamp printed underneath in red ink. But that wasn't even the worst part. Underneath the screenshots was an actual CPS complaint form, like the official kind you'd get from the county website, and it was already filled out. My name was listed as the guardian who took minors on dangerous water activities without parental consent or permission. "What the hell is this?" I said, and I could hear my voice shaking. Jason crossed his arms and leaned against my wall like he was about to deliver some big dramatic speech. "We've been planning this for weeks, Zoe, ever since you kept refusing to help us out with the kids." "Refusing to help you?" I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You mean refusing to be your free babysitter whenever you snap your fingers?" Amber's face was this weird mix of smug and defensive. "We needed leverage. You're so stubborn about this whole child-free thing. And honestly, we thought if we could just get you to spend real time with the kids, you'd see what you're missing. But you took it too far." "I took it too far?" My voice went up about 3 octaves. "You literally dumped your children on my doorstep without asking and planted a hidden camera in my apartment." "A camera we have every right to use," Jason said, and his tone made my blood boil. "We needed documentation in case you did something irresponsible." "Which you did." I looked at the complaint form again. It was detailed, like disturbingly detailed. They'd written down exact times, locations, even the name of the river. "So, What's the plan here? You're gonna report me to CPS for taking your kids on a supervised, safe activity? Amber actually smiled. Like, actually smiled. Not if you agree to help us out more. We just need you to commit to babysitting. Maybe twice a month. That's all. Then this folder disappears. And we can all move on as a family. You're blackmailing me. We're asking you to step up, Jason corrected, like there was a difference. I couldn't even speak for a second. I just stood there staring at these two people. My own brother and his wife, who'd orchestrated this entire trap just to force me into free labor. My phone was in my pocket and I was already thinking about who to call. My parents? A lawyer? The police? That's when I heard it. The sound of a car door slamming outside, then footsteps running up my apartment stairs. Clara burst through my front door like she'd teleported. Her face flushed from running. Zoe, you okay? You texted me saying. She stopped mid-sentence when she saw Jason and Amber standing there with their smug little faces. What's going on? They set me up, I said, and I could feel tears starting to form, but I refused to let them fall in front of Amber. They planned the whole thing. The camera, the Instagram posts, everything. Now they're threatening to report me to CPS unless I agree to be their babysitter. Jason pushed off the wall and took a step toward me. We're not threatening anyone. We're just pointing out that what you did was dangerous and… Shut up, Jason, Clara said. And the sharpness in her voice made him actually shut up. She looked at me. They're threatening you with CPS? Only if she doesn't cooperate, Amber added. Like that made it better. Clara's expression changed. She got this look on her face that I'd seen before when she was in full work mode. See, Clara's a paralegal at a family law firm, and she doesn't mess around when it comes to legal stuff. She pulled her phone out of her back pocket. That's interesting, Clara said slowly, because I recorded the entire tubing trip on my GoPro. I bring it on all water activities for safety documentation. It's kind of a liability thing, you know? She started swiping through her phone. So I have time-stamped footage showing continuous adult supervision, all 3 kids in properly secured life vests, calm water conditions, and everyone laughing and having a great time. Would you like to see it? The color drained from Amber's face so fast I thought she might pass out. You recorded it? Every second, Clara said. She turned her phone screen toward them, and I could see the video playing. There was Liam giggling as he tried to splash me, Ava singing with her glitter sunglasses reflecting the sun, and Jackson sleeping peacefully in his floating carrier. The life vests were clearly visible, bright orange and properly fastened. You could even hear Clara and me talking in the background, constantly checking on the kids. Jason grabbed for the phone, but Clara pulled it back. Touch my property and that's assault. I'm a paralegal, remember? I know exactly what I'm doing. This doesn't change anything, Amber said, but her voice was shaking now. Actually, Clara said, and she had this satisfied look on her face, it changes everything. Because this footage proves the children were supervised, safe, and happy. Meanwhile, you two abandoned 3 children, including an infant, on someone's doorstep without consent. That's called child abandonment. Plus, you broke into Zoe's apartment to plant a camera, which is illegal surveillance. My brain was catching up now. I pulled out my phone and hit record. Say that again, Amber. Say the part about how you planned this for weeks. Don't you dare, Jason said, stepping toward me. Stay back. I warned him. Still recording. Clara's right. You planted a camera in my home without permission. You abandoned your kids, and now you're trying to blackmail me into free labor. I want to hear you explain that on camera. We were trying to help you, Amber said, and she was starting to panic now. You need to understand what real responsibility looks like. You can't just live your life thinking only about yourself. So you set me up to force me into babysitting? We were giving you an opportunity to… To what? I cut her off. To be trapped like you are? To be miserable and broke and desperate enough to blackmail family members? That's when Amber just lost it. Like, completely lost it. She grabbed the folder and held it against her chest like it was some kind of shield. You don't understand. Childcare is bankrupting us. We're about to lose the house. We need help and you just keep saying no like we're asking you to commit a crime. And there it was. The real reason. Not teaching me a lesson about responsibility or helping me discover the joys of motherhood. They were broke and desperate, and needed a free babysitter. Clara was still recording on her phone too. She'd started when I did. You're saying on camera that you planned this scheme because you can't afford childcare? I know that's not… Amber stammered. Because that's what it sounds like, Clara continued. It sounds like you used the threat of a false CPS report to try to manipulate your sister-in-law into providing free labor. That's extortion, by the way. It's actually a criminal offense. Jason tried to grab my phone, but I stepped back. The video's already sent to Clara's number. You can't delete it. His face went red. You're going to ruin us. You were going to ruin me, I shouted back. You were going to report me to CPS. Do you know what that could do to my life? My career? All because you wanted a free babysitter? Amber started crying. Like actual ugly crying with mascara running down her face. We're desperate, okay? We're drowning. And you just sit there in your perfect little child-free life acting like you're better than us. I never said I was better than you. You didn't have to say it, Amber sobbed. It's in every Facebook post, every time you talk about your plans, every time you say no to watching the kids. You think we're idiots for having children? I think you're idiots for having 3 kids you can't afford and then trying to blackmail me about it, I said. Clara stepped between us. Okay, here's what's going to happen. You two are going to leave. Zoe's keeping all the evidence, including the recordings. You have 24 hours to apologize to the entire family for what you did, or she's pressing charges for attempted extortion and filing a restraining order. Your choice. You can't do this, Jason said, but he sounded defeated. Watch me, I replied. They left. Just grabbed their folder and walked out without another word. The second the door closed, I sat down on my couch and started shaking. Clara sat next to me and put her arm around my shoulders. Holy shit, I whispered. Yeah, Clara agreed. Holy shit. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept checking my phone, expecting angry texts or calls, but there was nothing. Radio silence. By morning, I had 17 missed calls from my parents and about 20 texts, all asking basically the same thing. Why was Jason saying I tried to kidnap his children and threatened him with a lawyer? I was still in bed staring at these messages when my mom called again. I answered, Zoe Marie, what the hell is going on? She sounded furious. Did Jason tell you his version already? He's saying you took the kids somewhere dangerous, and when he confronted you about it, you got your lawyer friend to threaten him. He's filing a police report right now. My heart sank. He's lying, Mom. Well, one of you is lying, and I need to know which one. Can you come over? I have evidence. 30 minutes later, my mom was at my door, and she was pissed. Like I could see it in the way she walked in without saying hello, the way she stood in my living room with her arms crossed, the way she looked at me like I was already guilty. Show me, she demanded. I played her the recording. The whole thing. Jason and Amber admitting they planned it for weeks. Amber talking about the CPS complaint. Jason saying they needed leverage. And then Amber's breakdown about being broke. My mom's face changed as she listened. Started angry, shifted to confused, then landed on shocked. When it ended, she just stood there. They were going to file a false CPS report against you? That was the plan, yeah. And they planted a camera in your apartment? Apparently. My mom sat down heavily on my couch. She looked like someone had punched her. I need to call your father. 20 minutes later, my dad showed up. Jason had apparently been calling him all morning too, feeding him the same story about me being irresponsible and threatening legal action. But unlike my mom, my dad was already skeptical. Jason's version doesn't add up, he said as he walked in. He keeps changing details. First he said you took the kids to a dangerous river, then it was a lake, then back to a river. Said you posted photos to spite them, then said you were bragging, then said you were trying to make them look bad. Kid can't keep his story straight. I showed him everything. Clara's GoPro footage of the kids safe and happy, the screenshots of Amber's passive-aggressive Facebook posts about child-free women from the past year, and the recording of their confession. My dad watched it all without saying a word. When it finished, he looked at my mom. We need a family meeting. Tonight. Everyone there. Jason's not going to come, Mom said. He will if I threaten to cut him out of the will, Dad replied. And I'd never heard him sound so cold. The family meeting was set for 7 that evening at my parents' house. I got there early with Clara, who I'd asked to come as a witness. My parents were in the kitchen stress cooking, which is what they do when they're upset. Dad was making his famous chili even though it was like 80 degrees outside. Jason and Amber showed up 20 minutes late with some guy in a cheap suit. This is Brad, Jason announced. Our lawyer. He's here to make sure this stays fair. Brad looked like he was fresh out of law school and already regretting his career choice. He sat down at the dining table and pulled out a legal pad like he was about to take depositions. Clara smiled at him. Hi, Brad. I'm Clara, paralegal at Morrison & Associates. We handle family law. You might want to see the evidence before you commit to representing this case. She pulled out her laptop and showed him everything. The GoPro footage, the recordings, screenshots of messages. I watched Brad's face go from confident to concerned to, oh shit, I need to leave. He watched maybe 3 minutes of content before he closed the laptop and stood up. Jason, can I speak with you privately? They went into the hallway. We could hear muffled arguing. 5 minutes later, Brad came back alone, grabbed his briefcase, and headed for the door. Where are you going? Amber called after him. I'm not representing a losing case. Good luck. And he was gone. Jason came back looking like he wanted to melt into the floor. My dad pointed at the empty chairs. Sit. They sat. I've seen the evidence, Dad said. Both of you need to explain yourselves. Now. Amber tried to redirect. This is all a misunderstanding. Zoe's always been jealous of our family and she's trying to turn everyone against us by… Shut up, my mom said. Amber's mouth snapped closed. I'd never heard my mom talk to anyone like that. You planted a camera in your sister-in-law's home, Mom continued. You abandoned your children on her doorstep without permission. You created a fake CPS complaint to blackmail her. And now you're trying to play victim? Her voice was shaking with anger. What the hell were you thinking? We were thinking we need help, Amber shouted back. We can't afford childcare and Zoe just keeps refusing like she's too good to help family. Because she has her own life, Mom shot back. She's not your free babysitter. She's family. Family helps each other. Family doesn't blackmail each other. Dad held up his hand. Enough. Jason, talk. What were you thinking? My brother looked at the table. He looked defeated. Amber's been obsessed with this idea that if Zoe would just spend time with the kids, she'd change her mind about being child-free. She thought it would help Zoe see what she's missing. But when Zoe kept saying no to babysitting, Amber got this plan to force the issue, and you went along with it, Dad said. I didn't think it would go this far. I thought Zoe would just watch them for the day and that would be it. I didn't know about the CPS form until Amber showed it to her. That's a lie, I said. You told me you both planned it for weeks. Jason flinched. Okay, yeah, I knew, but I didn't think we'd actually have to use it. I thought the threat would be enough. Dad shook his head slowly. Do you have any idea how disappointed I am right now? We're desperate, Jason said quietly. Childcare costs are killing us. We're behind on the mortgage. We needed help. How behind? Dad asked. Jason and Amber exchanged a look. 3 months. My mom gasped. 3 months? Why didn't you tell us? Because you're already helping us so much and we didn't want to ask for more. Dad stood up and walked to his office. He came back with a folder of his own. I've been giving you $1,500 a month for 2 years. You told me it was for the kids' education fund. Is that what you've been using it for? The silence was deafening. Jason, Dad said slowly. Where is that money? We needed it for other things, Amber mumbled. What things? Credit card bills, the timeshare payment, boat insurance. The what? Dad's voice could have cut glass. We bought a timeshare in Florida last year, Jason admitted. And a boat. We thought if we had nice things, we'd feel less stressed about money. But it kind of made everything worse. I literally could not believe what I was hearing. They were behind on their mortgage, claiming poverty, trying to blackmail me into free babysitting, all while paying for a timeshare and a boat? Let me get this straight, Clara said, and I could tell she was trying not to laugh. You have $30,000 in credit card debt. How did you know that? Amber interrupted. You said it during your breakdown at Zoe's apartment. It's on the recording. Anyway, you have $30,000 in debt, you're 3 months behind on your mortgage, and you're spending money on timeshares and boats? The timeshare was supposed to be an investment, Jason said weakly. Timeshares are never investments, Dad exploded. They're money pits. How could you be this stupid? We just wanted to have nice things, Amber said, and she was crying again. Everyone on Instagram has nice vacations and boats and perfect lives. We wanted that too. So you went into debt for Instagram? Mom asked incredulously. You don't understand what it's like, Amber sobbed. Everyone judges you if you don't have the perfect family photos and the perfect lifestyle. I needed people to see we were successful. Who cares what people think? I asked. You wouldn't understand. You don't have kids. You don't know the pressure. I know you used that pressure as an excuse to commit crimes, Clara said dryly. Dad sat back down and rubbed his face. Here's what's happening. I'm cutting off the monthly payments effective immediately. Jason, you're going to pay back every penny of that education fund money, or I'm reporting it as fraud since I gave it for a specific purpose and you spent it on toys. Dad, please. I'm not done. You two are going to sell the boat and get out of that timeshare however you can. You're going to apologize to Zoe, to this family, and you're going to get into therapy because clearly you have issues you need to work through. We can't afford therapy, Amber cried. Then you should have thought of that before you bought a boat, Mom snapped. The meeting went on for another hour. Lots of crying from Amber, lots of silent shame from Jason, lots of anger from my parents. By the end of it, Jason had agreed to pay Dad back $50 a month for the education fund money. They were putting the boat up for sale, and they'd agreed to family therapy. But Amber couldn't let it go. As they were leaving, she turned back to me with this look of pure hatred. You're happy now, aren't you? You destroyed our family. You destroyed your own family when you tried to blackmail me, I replied. She stormed out with Jason following behind her like a sad puppy. The second they were gone, I collapsed on my parents' couch. I need a drink, Mom said. I need 3, Dad agreed. Clara sat next to me. That was intense. That was a nightmare, I corrected. For the next 2 days, silence. No calls, no texts, nothing from Jason or Amber. My parents checked in a few times to make sure I was okay, and Clara kept asking if I wanted to go ahead and file the restraining order anyway, but I thought maybe, just maybe, it was over. Then on Tuesday afternoon, I was at work when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Auntie Zoe? It was Liam's voice, and he was crying. My heart stopped. Liam? What's wrong? Where are you? We're scared. Mommy and Daddy are fighting really bad. They're throwing things and yelling, and Ava's crying, and I don't know what to do. I could hear the fighting in the background. Amber screaming something about money, Jason yelling back, something crashing. Where are you right now? I kept my voice calm even though I was panicking. In my closet with Ava and Jackson. We're hiding. Okay, buddy. You did the right thing calling me. Stay right there, okay? I'm coming to get you. Do not leave the closet. Okay, he whispered. I hung up and immediately called my parents. Mom answered. They're fighting again. Bad. The kids called me. I'm going to get them. We'll meet you there, Mom said, and I heard Dad already grabbing car keys in the background. I got to Jason and Amber's house in 15 minutes. I'd definitely broken several traffic laws on the way. The front door was unlocked. I could hear them screaming at each other from the driveway. Inside was chaos. A lamp was broken on the floor. Picture frames knocked off the wall. I went straight to Liam's room and found all 3 kids huddled in his closet, exactly where he said they'd be. Liam had his arms around Ava, who was sobbing. Jackson was whimpering. It's okay, I'm here, I said softly, and pulled out my phone. I hit record, making sure to capture the audio of their parents screaming in the background. You could clearly hear Amber yelling, "This is all your fault," and Jason shouting something back about her spending habits. "Come on, guys. We're going to my place." "What about Mommy and Daddy?" Ava asked through her tears. "They need some time to calm down. You're gonna stay with me tonight, okay?" I got them out of the house without Jason or Amber even noticing. They were too busy destroying their bedroom to realize their kids were leaving. I loaded everyone into my car and drove straight to my apartment. My parents arrived 10 minutes later. The kids were still shaking. I made them hot chocolate and put on a movie while my parents and I talked in the kitchen. "We have to call Jason," Mom said. "Let him sweat for a bit," Dad replied. "Maybe he'll realize what he almost lost." But Jason figured it out fast. Within an hour, my phone was blowing up. 30 calls. Text after text. "Where are my kids? You can't just take them." "I'm calling the police." I didn't answer. Not until my parents were settled in my living room as witnesses. Then I put him on speaker. "Where are my children?" Jason screamed through the phone. "They're safe," I said calmly, "which is more than I can say for your house. You kidnapped them." They called me, terrified. "Because you and Amber were having a violent fight. I have them on video hiding in a closet while you two destroyed your bedroom. Want me to play it for the cops when you call them?" Jason went quiet. I could hear Amber in the background. "Give me the phone. I'll call the police myself." "Go ahead," I said. "I've got video evidence of your kids in distress with you fighting in the background. We can all have a nice conversation with CPS about it." Amber grabbed the phone. "You bitch! You can't just take our kids." "Your kids called me because they were scared. I documented everything. You want them back? Prove you're not a danger to them." "We're not dangerous. We were just having a disagreement. You were throwing things hard enough to break them," I said. "The kids were hiding in a closet. That's not a disagreement. That's a crisis." Dad took the phone from me. "Jason, Amber, both of you listen to me. Your children are staying with Zoe tonight. Tomorrow morning, you two are going to an emergency couples counseling session that your mother already booked. And you're going to get your shit together, or you'll be dealing with actual CPS, not your fake threats. Understood?" "Dad, you can't." "I can and I will. You have until 9 a.m. tomorrow to be at Dr. Peterson's office. Don't be late." He hung up. Mom was already on her phone. "I'm texting Dr. Peterson now. He owes me a favor from when I handled his mom's estate. He'll see them tomorrow." That night, the kids slept in my bed while I took the couch. Liam kept waking up asking if Mommy and Daddy were okay. Ava had nightmares. Jackson wouldn't stop crying unless I held him. It was the longest night of my life. The next morning, my mom showed up at 6 to watch the kids while I got ready for work. How'd they sleep? Terrible. Ava wet the bed. Liam had nightmares. Jackson wouldn't settle. Mom looked sad. "I'll take them to the park after breakfast. Tire them out a bit." At 9:30, my mom texted me. "They showed up. Jason looks like hell. Amber wouldn't look at me." 3 hours later, another text. "Session done. Dr. Peterson wants to see them twice a week minimum." That evening, I brought the kids back home. Jason and Amber were waiting on the porch. Both of them had been crying. When Liam saw them, he ran straight into Jason's arms. Ava went to Amber. Jackson just looked confused. "We're sorry," Jason said, and he was talking to the kids. "We're so sorry we scared you. That's never going to happen again, okay?" Ava looked up at Amber. "You're not going to throw stuff anymore?" Amber knelt down and hugged her daughter. "No, baby. No more throwing things. No more yelling like that. Mommy and Daddy are going to talk to someone who can help us be better." Liam looked at me. "Can we still do adventures with Auntie Zoe?" And I watched Amber's whole body tense up at that question. You could see her wanting to say no, wanting to control the narrative, wanting to keep me away from her kids out of pure spite. But then she took a breath and I realized, Dr. Peterson must have really gotten through to her. "Of course you can," Amber said, and the words seemed physically painful for her. "Auntie Zoe is really good at adventures." After the kids ran inside, I stayed on the porch with Jason and Amber. "What did the therapist say?" Jason looked exhausted. "That we're both drowning and we've been taking it out on each other. And on you. That we need intensive couples therapy and individual sessions for Amber before our marriage completely falls apart." "Individual sessions?" I asked, looking at Amber. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "He thinks I have anxiety issues. About motherhood. About money. About everything." Her voice cracked. "He said I've been projecting my regrets onto you because seeing you happy and child-free reminds me of everything I gave up." That was the first honest thing she'd ever said to me. Over the next 2 weeks, things were quiet. Jason and Amber went to therapy twice a week. Mom reported back after each session, since she'd insisted on sitting in on the couples counseling. Apparently, they'd been doing worse than anyone realized. Amber had severe anxiety that she'd been hiding. Jason had abandonment issues from a previous relationship that made him enable all of Amber's behavior because he was terrified she'd leave him if he disagreed with her. Then Amber asked to meet me for coffee. Just the two of us. I almost said no. Clara told me not to go. But something in Amber's text seemed different. Less aggressive, more defeated. So I went. She was already at the coffee shop when I arrived, sitting in the corner looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. No makeup, hair in a messy bun. She looked like she'd been crying. "Thanks for coming," she said as I sat down. "What do you want, Amber?" She took a shaky breath. I want to apologize. Actually apologize. Not the bullshit I've been giving you. You were right. About all of it. I was jealous of you. I didn't say anything, just waited. I've been miserable for years, she continued. I love my kids, I do, but I hate my life. I hate that I'm always tired and broke and overwhelmed. I hate that I can't remember the last time I did something just for me. I hate that I look at your Instagram and see you doing exactly what I used to dream about doing. She wiped her eyes. And instead of dealing with my own shit, I tried to make you as miserable as me. By blackmailing me. By trying to trap you, yeah. Dr. Peterson called it what it was. I wanted you to experience what I'm experiencing so you'd stop being a reminder of everything I lost when I had kids. Did anyone force you to have kids? No, she whispered. That's the thing that's been coming out in therapy. Jason wanted a big family, but I never actually said I wanted that. I just went along with it because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I saw all these Facebook posts about how blessed mothers are and how families are everything, and I convinced myself I wanted it too. But I didn't, and now I'm stuck. You're not stuck. I have 3 kids under 6, 30,000 in debt, and a husband who needs me to agree with everything or he panics. I'm pretty stuck. I didn't know what to say to that. She was right. She was stuck. But it was her own choices that got her there. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because you asked why I don't just make changes if I'm that unhappy. And the truth is, I'm terrified. I'm terrified people will judge me as a bad mother if I admit I regret my choices. I'm terrified Jason will leave me if I tell him I only had 3 kids because he wanted them. I'm terrified of what my life looks like if I'm honest about how I feel. So you'd rather stay miserable? I'd rather stay in control, she corrected. Or at least the illusion of it. That's why I was so obsessed with your being child-free. You're the only person I know who actually chose what they wanted, instead of what they were supposed to want. And I hated you for it. We sat there for a while in silence. The coffee shop was playing some indie music I didn't recognize. A couple in the corner was laughing about something. Dr. Peterson suggested I talk to a psychiatrist, Amber said finally. He thinks I might have postpartum depression that was never addressed after Jackson was born. He said a lot of my anxiety and anger might be chemical, not just circumstantial. Are you going to do it? I made an appointment for next week. Jason's mom is watching the kids. She looked at me. I'm scared, Zoe. I'm scared of what happens if I start medication and therapy and nothing changes. Like, what if this is just who I am now? What if I'm just a bitter, angry person who resents her own kids? Then you work on it. But you can't work on it if you don't admit there's a problem. I know. She pulled out her phone and showed me something. It was her Facebook page, and she deleted all the passive-aggressive mom memes, all the posts about how real women become mothers, all the shit she'd been posting for years. I'm done pretending my life is perfect. I'm done judging people for making different choices, and I'm done trying to force everyone else into the same misery box I put myself in. That's a start, I said. It's terrifying, she admitted. We talked for another hour. Amber told me about her therapy sessions, about how she'd realized she only had 3 kids because she was afraid to tell Jason she wanted to stop after 1. About how she'd been faking happiness on social media for so long she'd forgotten what real happiness felt like. About how she'd been planning that babysitting scheme for months, convinced it would somehow prove to me that motherhood was meaningful and to herself that she'd made the right choice. I wanted you to be as trapped as me, she said. And when you weren't, when you took the kids tubing and made it look easy and fun, I panicked. Because if you could handle my kids better than me without even trying, what did that say about me as a mother? It said you're overwhelmed and need help, not that you're a bad mom. That's what Dr. Peterson keeps saying, but it's hard to believe it. 2 months went by. Amber started on medication for postpartum anxiety and depression. She went to therapy every week, sometimes twice a week. Jason started actually stepping up, taking the kids 2 evenings a week so Amber could have personal time. They sold the boat. They got out of the timeshare by basically abandoning it and taking the credit hit. They consolidated their debt and started actually working on their marriage. And slowly, things got better. Not perfect, but better.